everybody, Jake Spano here with your Mayor's Minute. Today is June 12th. I haven't done one of these in a long time, so I just didn't feel like I had anything worth sharing with you, but boy do I ever. The last few weeks have been pretty tough in St. Louis Park. For those of you who have been watching the news, or if you have friends or family that may live in the area around Texas and Minnetonka, you heard that at the end of May, on May 21st, and the beginning of June, on June 3rd, we had 2 water main breaks on the same water main line within just a few yards of each other. And one of them caused massive amounts of damage to homes in the neighborhood. The other one caused damage, not as severe, but between the two of them, they wreaked real havoc on the Oak Hill and Texatonka neighborhood areas. So I want to talk to you a little bit about those, what we know, what we don't know, a little bit what we're doing, and what's going to happen moving forward. So to give you a little bit of context for this, when the water main broke on May 21st, it threw 1.1 million gallons of water out of the water main. It compromised the sanitary sewer, got into the sanitary sewer, and backed up into people's basements. Now, to be clear, the water main is what brings you clean drinking water to your house. The sanitary sewer is when you flush the toilet, that's what goes away. So you can imagine when this clean water got into the sanitary sewer and started backing up into people's basements, what kind of devastation that caused. I was in many of those homes. The council member Sue Budd, who represents that area, visited many of them, as did some of my colleagues. Like, we saw firsthand those basements full of water and in cleanup mode. And we saw the, trash bags full of personal belongings and baby blankets and wedding photos. And we can't fix that. We can't undo that. But what we can do is really 3 things. Find out what happened, support our neighbors as they're rebuilding, and then assess ourselves kind of what's the status of our infrastructure, what do we need to do differently. So let's just go through those a little bit. First off, we're going to do an investigation into what the cause of the water main break was, both of them. And we will hire an outside firm, an engineering firm, to come in, take a look at the photographs and all of the evidence. We've kept the sections of pipe, so we have all of that. And the neighbors will be a part of that process, because we heard very, very clearly from them that they want to have their fingerprints on that process. And so they will be assisting us with that. So we'll get to the bottom of what that cause was. Our staff feels they've got a pretty good sense of what caused it, but we want to bring in an outside group to help us with that. Secondly, on the financial piece, the council got together and, after a number of meetings with residents, passed a financial package this past week. And I want to walk through a little bit of that. So for homeowners who were impacted by just the May 21st break, I'll talk about this a little bit differently. The first sort of layer of coverage and support is people's personal homeowners insurance. And so for those folks that had homeowners insurance that covered this, that would be the first sort of level of support and aid, financial aid, they would get. If that didn't cover all of their damages, then our insurance, the city's insurance company, the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust, would cover up to $40,000 in repair beyond that. And repair and mitigation, I should say. So, mitigation and remediation, I think, is the language that they use. So that means putting in a new furnace or a new water heater, tearing out old drywall that was damaged and carpet that was damaged. But that also means putting the new stuff in, and it means replacing things like couches and furniture that were damaged, right? So personal belongings, personal effects. We can't, as I said, replace everything, but we want to try and replace as much as we can. Beyond that, most cities would have said, like, we have insurance, that's what you get. But I think the council felt really strongly, and our staff felt really strongly, that we needed to do better than that. And so what we did was we met and decided that for property owners who were impacted by just the first break, they would be, the May 21st break, they would be eligible for up to $60,000 in money from the city. If you were impacted by both, it would be $80,000. So all told, not including people's personal homeowners insurance, between our insurance and the money that the city is putting forward, property owners would be eligible for between $100,000 and $120,000 for both, again, remediation and mitigation, right? So it is a really an unprecedented infrastructure break in our city, and a really unprecedented response. Now, why are we able to do this? Really, we're able to do this for 2 reasons. Number one, We are pretty conservative when we go to estimating costs for projects. And so we try to estimate high, and we hope that we don't use all of that money when we do a road project or a bridge project or what have you. And that's the case this year. So we have what is called a general fund balance. We have some money left over from projects that were in our budget from this year. So we're going to use some money from that. And we're going to use money that the federal government gave us from ARPA. So we're going to use some ARPA dollars, and we're going to use some general fund dollars to bring this money forward to the affected property owners. In closing, what I will also sort of talk about, I shouldn't say in closing, but the third piece, right, is really about the future beyond that. And one of the things that we always do when we have something that happens in the city, we as the council and staff sit down and we go through, find out, what are we doing? What happened? Why did it happen? What can we do differently to try and prevent this in the future? And so council will begin that discussion really this week, and it will probably go on through the summer, looking at different technologies and reassessing maybe even like our funding priorities and where have we allocated monies in the budget, and do we need to shift those things? No promises on what that is going to look like, because that's a conversation that we haven't had yet, but I think it's an important one that we'll get to, as I said, all summer long. If you're interested in more information about this, you can go to the city's website. We have a page that is dedicated to it, and so you can find out all the information that we are sharing publicly with the neighbors and all the information that we basically have. That's where it's going. So if you've got questions, check that out. Obviously, if you've got comments or questions, you can leave them here in the comment section. We'll try to get back to you on those, and you can reach out to me or any of your council members directly if you've got questions. So thanks again. Sorry this is so long, but it's a pretty big issue in St. Louis Park, and I thought it deserved your time. And look forward to seeing you again, and hopefully not around a water main break. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks.